Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the High Sensitivity Gaming Podcast. Thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. So, this edition, it's all about the Summer Games Fest and announcements made there. This is your one stop podcast for the big news that came out during the Summer Games Fest. You don't have to go anywhere else, I guarantee you. My name is Barry, along with my co hosts.
My name is Craig. This is like the freshest of fresh. Capcom just ended, where you can't get any hotter. You might burn your mouth on this one.
And my other co host.
Hey, it's Craig. Still trying to figure out if I want to upgrade my PS package because PlayStation Plus dropped that today. So
let me tell you, that's on my list later. I have some thoughts. Barry, did you upgrade yours?
I was automatically upgraded. I had PS Now and PlayStation Plus, so I get upgraded to premium for the rest of the year.
Okay.
VIP.
Yep.
Yes, I spend way too much money. I give Sony too much of my money.
Grandfathered in. I got a little bit of a deal when I upgraded today, but again, I'll save that for later.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and start with Summer Games Fest. Now, I have an entire list here. I am going to somewhat not every announcement we're going to go over in this podcast. There's too many announcements, too many small games that probably people, one person who listens to the podcast will be like, that's what I need to hear. I'm sorry.
And Barry, we have to cut out like a solid 30 to 40 minutes just for Scorn.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes, I suppose that is something we have to talk about.
Yeah, I know you're excited.
But first, we'll start off with the Summer Games Fest area, the opening day for Jeff Keighley's Knight in Shining Armor of Gaming.
Yep.
Some of the announcements there, and I guess we'll go over some of the impressions as we go along here. Nightingale seems to be a older survival game, crafting stuff. I don't care much for these games, I'm going to be honest.
Next.
All right,
look terrible, I think.
I didn't think it looked terrible. It is new because everybody who has played like these survival games, I think more or less thinks about The Forest.
Yeah.
And this one is more psychedelic with portals and estate stuff. So there is a bit more added to it, but I really don't see like me playing it. Those games never really have been for me. I don't much understand it. Next up is going to be Warhammer 40k Darktide. I rewatched all the trailers, so this is all fresh in my mind. I think it looks good. I do like the Warhammer 40k series. It's pretty much just space D&D, I think is how I'm going to put it. The one thing that does make it difficult, though, is Captain Price, or whoever voiced Captain Price, is voicing in the trailer, and it makes my head spin.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be watching a Modern Warfare trailer, which was also in this opening of Summer Games Fest. But Warhammer 40k Darktide, Game Pass game. Any of you guys probably going to try it or leave it alone?
I'll give it a shot. It's on Game Pass, so I might as well at least try it and see if I like it. I don't think I've tried a bunch of Warhammer games like Vermintide and all that, and none of them really stick with me. But I still like, if they're going to throw it on Game Pass, I'll still give it a download.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Craig. I haven't really tackled this particular series, but you're going to be hearing this a lot because I can't tell you how many times we saw Game Pass just like at the bottom, like Game Pass day one playing. So it's quite an exciting time to own an Xbox and particularly have Game Pass. I'll give it a shot. Definitely.
Yeah.
Goat Simulator 3 trailer hides behind the Dead Island 2 trailer. I thought this was really clever. I thought it was Dead Island 2, and then Goat showed up, and I was like, "Oh, these pieces of S. I can't believe they did that." But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Goat Simulator 3, and yet again, just so people are reminded, there is no Goat Simulator 2. They just literally skipped 2 and went to 3. That's how this series goes. They find it funny, so I imagine we're all just playing into the joke.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how the series goes.
There's a lot of Goat Simulator that got played in my house, specifically by my daughter when she was young. Those are fun games. I mean, they are what you make of them. I never played it for more than like an hour or two, but I know kids in general will just play that game a bunch. So I'll definitely try it. But I don't have like game of the year, high hopes for it.
What is the goal? I have not played Goat Simulator, but there
really isn't one.
That's got to be very enticing.
Yep. You just do whatever you want. You get they score you kind of like you're playing a Tony Hawk game, where you just get points for doing random things. And there's hidden things you could find, and at least in the first one. But yeah, that's why I never stuck with it, because I need structure in my games, and that definitely is not structure. But yeah, I know it has a following.
It does. They did trick us, didn't they? Because everybody who was watching that was like, "That's oh my god, Dead Island," and it was like, "Oh, what a tricksters they are." that was good.
Routine, a robot horror game. If there was one way to put this Summer Games Fest, it's that there's a lot of, for whatever reason, space horror coming out, and we'll be talking about that. But this seemed to be more of the indie type of space horror. It just really showed a trailer about some dude walking around, and it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's, but you're walking around a space and you're being haunted by robots. I don't know.
Yeah. It seems all right, I guess. Something I might pay $10 or $20 for.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed the suspense of what the trailer brought, and whatever gun that guy was holding in that, which looked like some modified NES system, maybe with some old computer parts that he just kind of picked up and wielded I liked it. I'm interested to see more the robot horror of it, but I would have to watch a little bit more gameplay, or I would go with what you're saying, Craig, and do for $10 or $20 if it's on there,
Yeah.
To the next one, Fort Solis, a game with what's his face from The Last of Us.
I have to keep looking these up because I forget which one's which.
Another space horror game. You kind of have it opening up with somebody talking into a camera diary, like we see in some other space.
Oh, it's Troy Baker.
Movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Troy Baker. Sorry, that's it. Yeah, he voices it.
And Roger Clark, who is Arthur Morgan in Red Dead.
Yep, exactly. So those two were the people that were there for the reveal and kind of talking about it. There apparently is a lot of fighting choreography in this game. Troy Baker kind of went into detail about what goes behind all of this stuff and all the performance capture they did for this game. I will probably need to see a review before trying it, but there are I got Dead Space and now Callisto Protocol to worry about. So Fort
too
Solis,
many going on.
Unfortunately, Fort Solis will probably be on the back burner unless it's some revolutionizing and storytelling in a way.
Yeah, I agree. The two, bottom of the list for me.
Between Callisto Protocol and Dead Space, you have about 2.5 to 3 months of gaming that's going to come that take precedent over a lot of other different things. That's going to be Callisto Protocol, at least, is going to be Elden Ring for a lot of people when it launches. It's just impressing too many people.
Yeah.
Including us three.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Terrified to play it though.
Yeah, me too.
Witchfire, a game announced in 2017, gets gameplay. It also gets a early access sign up that you can sign up for. Looks to be a PC game, maybe on console as well. Witchfire literally looks like medieval times with D&D guns and spells. I thought it looked pretty good. I think this definitely has a gameplay to it. We mostly saw the combat and running around and shooting guns at people, shooting spells. So I'm more curious about, okay, is there a story? What is it going to be here? So Witchfire was one of the first games that I went, okay, I'm kind of excited for this a little bit. We have to see where it goes, of course, here, and it's only going to be going into early access here in a little bit. We still have no idea when the actual release date is. It was announced in 2017, and we're just getting early access 5 years later.
Kind of like a Doom vibe a little bit.
That's
maybe.
Fair.
Yeah. It seems to be fast paced. I just kind of compare it to D&D type stuff because they're using revolvers, old type guns, and then there's people doing spells and fighting you with swords and knights and armor. So that's where I get the comparison.
Color me intrigued.
One of the first to color you intrigued, I imagine.
Yeah.
When you said
the first one on the list so far.
When you said
smaller announcement, I was gonna say just a smaller announcement is Saints Row character creator called Boss Factory is now out, and you can play with it, create your own character in time for the game to come out. It is a pretty in-depth character creator, and that is something that is going to be important to a lot of people who come into Saints Row new. It's all like Saints Row has always been about inserting you as the main character and as the person. So being able to create this person literally how you want to, almost down to every aspect you want, is going to be pretty exciting for people who are excited for Saints Row. It's not so much that Saints Row really interests me, but I want to try out Saints Row just because I never played it when I was a kid, and I think kind of the craziness of Saints Row is what brings me to be like, okay, this could be a game that I like.
Yeah, I can't remember if they did it with Saints Row 3 or 4, but I remember they did the same thing where they released the character creator before the game came out. I remember spending some time in that, and I already downloaded this and checked it out I made like 2 or 3 people. It's definitely a lot more detailed than the Saints Row games used to be. But yeah, I'm excited for Saints Row, so I was excited to mess around with this a little bit. I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of like announcements with like, hey, we have a demo out today, or hey, buy it today this year. So
yeah,
there was like a few, but that was one of them. So I was like, well, I might as well try it out. There's not a whole lot else going on.
I wish a lot of major games would just release the character creator before the game, because like that's a cool concept to me, especially when you think of how excited you are for a title and you bring it home, on whether you download it or you bring the actual CD home, you're actually waiting to get it on the console that you're playing. And then after that, you're really excited to play the game. But like most gamers, or at least some gamers, you have to spend yet another 45 minutes creating the person that you're going to be using for the next 30 to 100 hours. Like, I like that concept, to be honest.
Yeah, it's cool.
Gotham Knights Nightwing trailer is showed off. I hate to say it, the more I see Gotham Knights, the more I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this game. I was excited for like the Court of Owls aspect thing, but I was excited because it seemed to be. I thought it was going to be an intriguing storyline. You get to play as other characters other than Batman. Don't get me wrong, I like Batman, but I don't know much about these other characters that are in this game. And everybody always tells me that the Court of Owls is like a really good like comic arc for Batman.
As well.
And now that I continue to see this game, I don't know. I am very on the fence for this game, for sure. And I imagine you guys are too, from the sounds of it.
No, I'm excited for it, man. Any Batman games, I'm always in. I feel like the last one was Arkham Knight. That was a while ago now. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy these games, so I mean, I'm excited for it. I'll be buying it for sure.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, Barry, I'm completely off the fence. That game for me is already pre-ordered. Like, I'm already invested, and I think if they just keep the core gameplay like in the successful manner that it has, I feel like I'm going to come back to you guys in November or December after I've played it a little bit and been like, oh, the story's not that good, guys, or something along those lines. I'm intrigued enough. I don't know enough about most of these characters. There's like 5,000 Robins to me, and sometimes I can't keep track of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm excited for that. I'm in. It's like I told you guys last week. This is either going to be my Biomutant, or it's going to be like T-Pain Buy You a Drank for me, when I told everybody that song was good and nobody believed me until they heard
it. I don't think it'll be, regardless, I don't think it'll crash as hard as Biomutant did. It may end up being like a mediocre, but even like, was it Arkham City Origins was the one that everybody was like, meh. I still enjoyed that game. So I think I'll still enjoy it enough to get the whole way through it, at least.
Maybe I need to be more positive on it. Speaking of comic book games, the trailer of the show for me was Marvel Midnight Suns, with Master of Puppets showing off. Yeah, I just I liked it. It was a fun trailer. I was like, yeah, Master of Puppets. I don't know. I like a couple Metallica songs. And they announced that Spider-Man will be joining, so is Venom as part of the villain team. I want to see gameplay. This is my issue with the game. It is made by the same people that make XCOM, and they are a tactical RTS control your units RPG type thing. And I don't know how it's going to translate to a superhero type game where this game feels to me like it should be like Marvel Ultimate Alliance that came out on the Switch earlier a couple years ago. And because I know it's not that team making it, my brain has a hard time like thinking, wait, this is a turn-based game most likely. And I need to see gameplay if I'm going to be good with it or if to be excited for it. These types of games need to have like really good storytelling, especially if all you're doing is controlling Spider-Man and moving him 8 spaces on a map to send, to shoot his web slinging at somebody for them to, die or be incapacitated, however they decide to put it. And that needs to be done correctly. Like, it has to be a good story. I like the Master Demon Lilith, I believe is her name. I think the character design for everybody is cool. I just need to see gameplay, and maybe then I'll be sold on it. But this is probably the game that I'm most kind of flipped on back and forth for. I like turn-based games. I like XCOM, but how does that translate over to this Marvel's Midnight Suns game?
Yeah, I can see where your hesitance is. I did not play the first XCOM, but I did play XCOM 2, which is a great game. Very tough and a lot of uses of that specific style of gameplay. I'm with you, Barry. It's going to be kind of weird in a transition to superheroes, specifically due to it's just 2 different genres, because you had like kind of aliens, like with a Marine Terran trying to protect the world versus like just everybody's everybody's favorite neighborhood Spider-Man. In addition to other characters, I liked that I saw Doctor Strange was in this.
They showed a skin for him, so I think he's in the game.
I did like who they included. I was sad in the trailer to see Venom go to the dark side, but then I was happy because then you fight him and such like that. I am like 60% in, maybe 70%, because like I was kind of waiting for an XCOM 3 since I played XCOM 2, and I kind of like that at least the team is working on different projects. They're kind of involving their talent. And we'll see.
Yeah, I'm like, Barry, you're on the fence about Gotham Knights. I'm like across the street from the fence before you get to the fence on this game, just because I like XCOM. I've talked about how I like XCOM 2 specifically, but I've still never finished that game because I get tired of the combat style. So for me, like when they're like, oh, it's like an XCOM, that makes me hesitant. It was mentioned that like, oh, it has like almost a Mass Effect style way of telling the story and talking to characters with, maybe branching paths of dialogue. And that sounds cool. But as far as the gameplay goes, I'm like super hesitant on wanting to play through a Marvel game in an XCOM style at all. So I'm like far away from the fence watching from a distance, and maybe I'll get into it and maybe I'll like it. But as of right now, I think for me, it'll probably be a pass, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be that kind of game for a lot of people, but we have to see. Marvel Midnight Suns, I have to see more of before judging it. Layers of Fear.
Yeah.
No.
Have you played the other one?
No. It's not... You can't make me play this game.
The first one wasn't that bad.
It's not bad. Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I was okay, and I'm kind of like at your level of scaredy catness.
Layers of Fear is the pick up items and look at them and put them down game.
Yeah.
That's what that game is.
Okay, because like it literally says Layers of Fear in the title. Like I don't want to play anything that has fear in the title, but Watching the trailer, this is a game for certain people looking to get their spooks and probably some pretty good storytelling along the way. Not so much for me. That's what I'm getting at.
That's fair.
Callisto Protocol should change their name to Fear Protocol, and then you won't play it.
Yes.
I never played the Fear games either.
Those are great. Man, you should play those on stream. Find the Fear games, Fear 2 specifically. I think you'd have a good time with that.
Probably like $5.
It's a shooter. You'd be all right.
Yeah, I probably would be with Fear at least. And we're starting to get to the big stuff here for the first day of Summer Games Fest. Modern Warfare 2 campaign tease pretty much just looks like they're on Wetworks is what it is. They're on a ship. Yep. They're shooting people. I need this game to kind of reinvigorate my love for like Call of Duty. There is so much riding on Modern Warfare 2, and I think they know it.
Yep.
I liked Vanguard. I like its story mode, but the multiplayer like totally bombed for me. And I do not like Warzone. Sorry, no matter what you do to it, I'm probably not going to play it. But Modern Warfare 2 has a chance to get you back into the campaign story of things with characters we know and like, with this reinvigorated way of telling Modern Warfare 2. And I get that it's not exactly like Modern Warfare 2, but we finally get to see characters we like Soap, Ghost. They've done a huge promo about bringing these characters back. They need to make it worth it in the campaign. And the game looks good. I have no issue with how the game looks. But after campaign, there has to be something for people to play. That's not Warzone. And I get that Call of Duty and all of their chips are in. Get Warzone to be as big as popular because it's a free-to-play and people will pay tons of money to play it. But for me, make a good multiplayer and I will continue to play your game long past the original playtime or play date.
I'm not delusional. I know the majority of their efforts going into Warzone, like you said, but the last Modern Warfare had a very good multiplayer. So I have hopes that this will be as well. I have no doubt in my mind that single player campaign is going to be a good time. Like I haven't had a bad time with a single player campaign in a Call of Duty game in years. No matter how bad.
Since like Infinite, is it Infinite?
I didn't even mind that one.
Warfare?
I think it was Advanced one with Kevin Spacey. Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking of as well.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever hated Call of Duty single player campaign ever. I've had some that I've just kind of like meh, but I didn't hate any of them. The Modern Warfare one from 2019 now, that was phenomenal. So like I have some pretty high hopes on this single player campaign. I think the multiplayer will be just as good as Modern Warfare was. And I'm sure they're going to put so much effort into Warzone 2, as they're calling it. I mean, I loved Warzone, but I just got so burnt out on it that maybe they can do something to get me excited about it again. But kind of like you, I don't know if that's possible at this point.
Isn't it possible for, and like, tell me if you guys disagree, like, can't, for the Call of Duty games, they just like relax and like you guys are saying, like, hopefully make something that's a little bit more memorable back to it? I mean, to the whole Battlefield team, that didn't drop the way they wanted it to. That's a competitor. Halo had its like moment when it dropped, and it had its moment after. But like, I'm not playing it. I don't really like hear of many people like continuing to play it for like a long series. And if you are like a diehard Infinite player, I'm sorry, but like I'm just trying to make like a correlation here. Like, can't you just take your time? Like, and just make sure that like from A to Z it's just released and kind of reminds everybody of what put Call of Duty in everyone's household, like consistently. Like what I don't know what the rush is like because again your competitors are not really destroying.
Well, they are switching to 2-year cycles now.
Right.
This
is the first one, right?
Well, yeah, I think this is the first one of the 2 years.
Okay.
So we'll get Modern Warfare 2 2 years later. So, like, not only does a lot ride on this game, but they have to support it. Like, it's definitely pretty much in the paperwork that if we're not going to be getting a Call of Duty every year, then Modern Warfare 2 needs to be supported from day one with balance. It's almost like how like Apex Legends, they have a really good system they have a new season that comes out almost every 2 to 3 months, a new character if you need it, more gun balances, continuing to switch the meta. That's what they're going to have to do.
Yep.
With Warzone, and I think with the multiplayer, with balancing of guns, attachments, adding new stuff, which they did well in Vanguard and Cold War. Like, they did a good job of that, but they need to make it, I believe, more apparent than just hiding everything underneath. Because whenever Apex Legends does an update, it's always kind of big.
That's
true. With a
That's
character, map changes, everything like
Yep.
that. Like, it feels like it's a fresh new event that's coming out, where Call of Duty will be like, here, did you see our update 67 with updates to the gun?
Yep.
And it's just like, you never see that. Like, you need to kind of have it come out in a big spurt and have people excited for when all these things come out.
And they need to balance their battle pass, because their battle pass is like 75% items for Warzone, 25% for whatever the multiplayer is at that time. So Vanguard right now. So if you don't play Warzone and you buy that battle pass because you're like, oh man, I play a lot of Vanguard, like the 10 people who still do. And then you go through that battle pass and you're like, man, I can't even use 75% of this stuff. What's the point? They definitely need to balance it out, or have 2 separate ones. Maybe. I don't know if they do that, but just balance it out better.
100% agree. Next up, what we want to talk about as well is Callisto Protocol gets an extended gameplay trailer. It is really hard not to compare this to Dead Space, because there are so many things borrowed from Dead Space, because this is the ex-director of Dead Space. You're shooting people in limbs to get certain things to go. You're dying to obstacles. You're dying in gruesome ways. I know I'm not huge into horror, but I am excited for Callisto Protocol. It looks to be a fun game.
Yeah,
and both. Hopefully both of them are able to differentiate themselves in a way where they can both be enjoyed. Where, my fear is that both of these games might come out close to each other, and it's just going to feel like a blending of the two, where you almost don't know what it is you're playing. Like, you just boot up your console with your eyes closed and you open it up. Oh, wait, am I playing Callisto or Dead Space? Who knows?
I mean, Dead Space is in February of next year, and Callisto is the end of this year?
November.
Yeah.
So we should have plenty of time. I'm at the point with this game where, like, I don't need you to show me anymore. Just let me know when it's available to buy and I will be there. Like, I don't need to see anything else. I'm good.
That's where I'm at as well. And I think this is where you can be proud as a developer if you're enticing, like, again, to use the word, scaredy cats like myself and Barry, who will take an extra 5 to 6 hours to probably play the game, because we are turning, not because of looting or anything like that, like the standard stuff, but because of, like, taking your time and, like, going around this corner. Because I can guarantee you, I'll be straight up with the both of you. When I play a horror game, it definitely takes 2 more minimum hours for me to complete, because I am extra cautious. But I love every second of it. And that's what Callisto Protocol looks like it's going to bring. And it's quite exciting. The enemy that they were fighting, like the telepathic kind of enemy, it's not the same game at all, but it reminded me of, like, Control a little bit, with, like, the hovering type of enemy that kind of, like, moves forward and back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that reminded me of Control, I promise you. But it's exciting. I'm with everybody that's just like, including you, Craig, that's just like, hey, let's just give it to me. I'll just tell me when it's out. Tell me when I can pre-order it. Even I'll be waiting for that.
Yep,
it's gonna be good.
100%.
Smaller one before another big one. Alien Dark Descent twin stick shooter. I didn't expect it when I saw the Alien Dark Descent trailer here. I've just assumed it was going to be another co-op shooter based on the Alien franchise. I didn't expect a twin stick shooter. I really don't know how popular these types of games are anymore, if I'm going to be honest.
Alien Isolation was popular, I guess.
Yeah.
This is the first Alien game I want to play besides Alien Isolation, just to sneak that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you guys know better than I do.
It's a top-down shooter. Might be okay, might not be, but as far as Alien, which is a pretty failed video game franchise, and after, like, the original Alien grouping failed movie franchise. Sorry, Alien versus Predator, but this looks like it could be okay. It's going to be a 5 out of 10 probably. Like,
could be an interesting couple days with it at least.
And big news is the closing statement for the Summer Games Fest, and it was also leaked. The developers from Naughty Dog came out, Neil Druckmann did, with the multiplayer for Last of Us 2 is going to now be standalone and have a story. It seems to have grown much bigger than they originally anticipated, and will now be what looks to be a live service game. And we're also getting a Last of Us remaster made with the Last of Us 2 engine. Overall, my impressions, I haven't played The Last of Us since the original came out on PS3. I never played the remaster that came out on PS4. And in a way, I'm excited for that, just because it is an upgrade. It is definitely an upgrade to what Ellie and Joel look like in the game. I don't know whether, hopefully, they just fix a little bit of shooting mechanics or, crafting mechanics for the game to make it a little bit more streamlined with how the controls do now. But I'm impressed with the remaster. I am impressed with Naughty Dog just coming out and being, hey, here's like the definitive way to play The Last of Us. We made Last of Us 2. People loved it or hated it, depending on who you talk to. And The Last of Us we're gonna do the same thing. Here's the remake. Here's gonna be the upgrade, solely made for PS5. Go and have fun with it. And I did want to say during this Summer Games Fest, there are a lot more games that are next gen only.
Yeah,
we are starting to see the transition now. Of, all right, guys, if you wanted an Xbox or PlayStation, hopefully you got it. Now we're going to the next generation, which is something I like to see. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I know we had talked about, you and I, about like, am I really going to be buying The Last of Us for the third time?
Yes.
Especially at $70, right? Like, I already paid 60 for it on PS3. I don't know if I paid 60 or not. I don't think I did on PS4. I want to say it was like 20 or 30. But again, paying 70, and I know I will. I know I'm complaining about the price and like all that, but I'm still going to do it. Another like side note to that, you remember when we did the Last of Us 2 spoiler cast way back when, had my brother-in-law Tom on here. He was like, as soon as that got announced, he was texting me being like, where can I find a PlayStation 5? I need one right now so I can get this game. Even though he's already, just like me, owns it on PS3 and PS4, he's now scrambling to find a PS5 just to play a game he's already played twice on two different consoles, and is going to buy another console to play the same game. So that speaks to like how powerful this game is. That multiplayer thing, I don't know how I feel about it. I got to see some stuff, and I know it's a long ways off, but the idea of a Last of Us that's like a live service, I'm not really feeling. So I'm definitely going to have to see some more info on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to buy it for a third time. I got it when there was the remastered version, and then if you caught it at the right time, you did get like a sales price on it, like depending on where you got it from and such like that. And I mean, name me a story between 2019 and now in video games that was as compelling as that. So when I bought the remastered version, that was why I needed Ellie and Joel like back in my life, and not in like the Last of Us 2 type of way. I needed it in like the gritty, creating that relationship that really withstood the test of time. I probably will get it again. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy that gets it like when it gets released, but it's intriguing to see it on that engine and kind of get what The Last of Us 2 was able to provide in terms of visuals and such like that. We'll see, I mean, it's not like they're changing anything like drastically, so it's going to be the same great game. It's just going to have graphics. And Barry, I agree with you. It's like DVD to Blu-ray now. It's like, all right, we're expecting everybody to have a Blu-ray player by now. It's been a couple of years, like they're trying to like usher it on and keep it next gen. And I'm a little spoiled because I have next gen consoles. I guess current, next gen, whatever you want to call it. So I'm a little spoiled, but like I do like that transition as well. So I had to agree with you on that before I forgot to.
And word is that like Sony has come out and said like if you want a PS5 in the coming months, you will be able to get one. And considering that this game is coming out in 3 months now, September, and that's nice. It's a page out of Nintendo's book. Hey, here's the trailer, here's the drop. You only got to wait 3 months instead of 4 years. So I'm all for that. I'm glad that Sony has done it the way they did because I have a feeling The Last of Us Remaster wouldn't be as exciting if I had to wait till next year, January, February for it. Just not really not really as exciting. That date for me, it's like, okay, 3 months, awesome. Like that's awesome to have a new PS5 game exclusively for it, first party come out, because we really don't have any coming out until, Forsaken, hopefully God of War, which I have no clue anymore about, but that's another discussion for another time.
Also, just on a side note, don't ask me why this is burned into my brain, but June 20th, 2006, it's burned into my brain is the first day you could buy a Blu-ray player.
Oh, wow.
And we're still making DVDs. Yeah. So that's just like, that's been a pet peeve of mine forever, that we're still making DVDs. However many years later, like we're coming up on almost 20 years of Blu-rays. So hopefully it doesn't take that long to phase out PS4 and Xbox One. But yeah, we need to get on the roll here with being like, you got to get a new console now.
That's a good point.
On to the Xbox showcase. 36 minutes in and we're just talking about Xbox.
Right.
But Xbox, it doesn't probably require the same amount of talking about it. And let's be honest, Capcom showcase was pretty disappointing. I'll start off with the smaller news first. On Xbox, no info on Stalker 2. Really interesting considering that game was supposed to come out like April of this year. We were supposed to already have it in our hands. And I have a feeling not only is it delayed because of production, I have a feeling it's got something to do with Russia and Ukraine as well.
Probably.
It's the same thing with Advanced Wars Boot Camp 1 and 2. I have a feeling that probably the sensitivity, especially in Stalker's case, the sensitivity about the game when it comes probably to Russia, which they don't really hide in these types of games, they kind of have to be really careful with the release date and how they do things. I just wish we would have gotten something. All we know is 2023. That's all we have there. An important partnership, Riot Games is partners with Microsoft for a bunch of games. League of Legends Wild Rift, Valorant, all coming to Xbox. And probably the most crucial piece of information I saw on those, all champions and playable characters included.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys understand this.
But
the
crazy.
amount of legends in League of Legends is hundreds of dollars. And the fact that you can get it with Game Pass is an outstanding just value in Game Pass. I'm almost waiting for them to be like, okay, we're doing this, but guess what? We're raising the price. I have, that's what I'm continuing to wait for, but it's important for them. It's important for Xbox to have this partnership. Riot Games and League of Legends is as much as we don't really play it that often, it is $1 billion franchise. They have tournaments, they have championships. It's literally one of the biggest games out there, and Xbox and Riot Games, it's a really good partnership to see, and I really hope we get to see more. Maybe if we can, single player experiences with a partnership like this. And Craig and I have talked about it too. Arcane is awesome. League of Legends franchise, you could do something with that really cool in a video game and make people not only more interested in the lore of League of Legends, but also play your League of Legends game. But that's hundreds of dollars. I can't stress that enough.
Wait, stress it again for me.
That's pretty cool.
Very.
I might actually try Valorant because of that.
Yeah, part of me wants to try Valorant too, but it's interesting to see how this is going to change gaming, because every week that I write up the articles for our show, there's always a new article about game execs worry about what Game Pass is doing to gaming. So I just don't know where the worry is, especially considering Riot Games is partnering with Game Pass. So Have to see.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess we'll get into this one. Scorn release date October 21st.
Barry.
It
Barry.
Everything
guess
is
what?
living in that.
Barry, guess what?
What?
It really doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't though, man.
It looks okay.
It's disgusting,
I
but it
hate
looks
to
great.
agree with you.
It does
I
not look
hate
terrible. Listen,
hate-
Game Pass day one, it doesn't look as bad as it did the first time we saw it. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Game of the year.
It's game of the
I don't
year.
believe it's I play it. I swear to God, if it's game of the year, I swear to
When I saw
God.
that,
I'm gonna push
I wrote
for it.
Disgusting, but
If it's game of the year, I'm selling all my consoles and I'm just gonna be solely a Switch player. I'm just gonna play Pokemon. I'll never have to worry about Scorn being on the Switch because there's no way the Switch could run it at all. Not even in its dreams.
Listen, there's no excuse for you not to stream this day one. You don't even have to pay for it. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We promise you won't be scorned in your choice of streaming.
I honestly don't think it looks that bad now. I'm like 100% being truthful. I think it looks okay.
No, yeah, I didn't think it looked that bad either. I'm going to be honest as well. But it was very minimal what we did see. Like we really still have no idea what's going on in the game, and we'll see whether or not it gets explained.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon DLC is announced, the first wave, and it's dealing with Hot Wheels.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That first Hot Wheels expansion was awesome.
Well, that was Lego.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was Lego, but it was still cool.
No, yeah, it was cool. I'm all for it. And what's nice about it is, we're gonna kind of get these tracks in the sky type loop-de-loop type things, and I just think the way Horizon looks, you can really get something going on with that. Just with user-created tracks using Hot Wheels track pieces, it's gold in a way. It'll be really good for them. Persona games coming over to Xbox, starting with Persona 5 Royal on Game Pass, followed by in 2023 Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable.
Why would they do it the opposite way?
I think it's got something to do with the popularity of Royal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I gonna play it again? Probably not. I don't expect me to play a 100-hour game again. If I really wanted to, I'd just play that on my PlayStation, but we'll see.
Yeah, but achievements.
I don't chase achievements anymore. I'm too old to chase achievements.
I haven't played 4, so I'm excited. I heard if there was another Persona besides 5 that you need to get on, I was told by multiple people in my time frame that 4 is like the one to play. So I'm excited to just play it for free, to be honest. I love 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see.
Into the big hitters now. Diablo 4 with a new class, Necromancer. Craig, I know you love Diablo, so you're the person to go to because I haven't gotten that into
Talk
Diablo.
to us, Craig.
It seems like they're changing some stuff around, right? Like when you clear out areas, then certain areas become towns after you clear them out, which is kind of cool. I think it looks very good. I'm torn on whether, do I get this on PC? I've had a lot of fun playing Diablo 3 on console. I almost feel like it controls better on console. It's easier to control because you're not being like, oh, my spells are 1 through 9. On console, it's like, it's all right there. But they need this to be good because of the hell they're getting from Diablo Immortal. So they have to hit this one out of the park. And so far, I think it looks okay. They're sticking to the formula of what works for Diablo.